So I'm on my hike with Buddy, and I decided that when I get home, I'm gonna make a dish that it's a breakfast item or a brunch item, and it's gluten-free and it's vegan if you want it to be. It's ovo vegetarian if you want it to be, but it's delicious. Period. I guess I should tell you what that dish is. I'm gonna make some baked oatmeal with some cranberries. It's freaking great. Wait till you try it. And it's really simple, folks. All right? So stick around. On the menu with Chef Will Gotay, baked oatmeal. Y'all should be gathering your ingredients. You're gonna need oatmeal. You're gonna need 3.5, 4 cups of oatmeal. You're gonna need some brown sugar. You're gonna need some vanilla. You're gonna need some eggs. A little bit of cream, or unless you want to use an oat milk or something like that, which is totally cool. Coconut milk works really well with it. And some baking powder, okay? So vanilla, of course, unless you want to use a different flavoring, which is also acceptable. I'm going to use the almond flavoring, and I'm going to add some almonds to it. Oh yeah, and the shirt's on because I'm hiking, you know. I don't want to show my pecs to the world. Only to you. All right, so I just got back. The pool is cleaning. You can hear that like sucking sound. You know, so you're gonna hear some weird sounds in the background is all I'm saying. All right. So I'm gonna make the oatmeal. I have 4 cups of oats. Okay. I'm gonna add a half a cup of sugar. I'm gonna add 1 cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of allspice. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Feel free to change the flavor if you want. I might do vanilla or almond extract, whatever. Either way, you can use it. And then it's a half a cup of cream, or quarter cup of heavy cream, and 2 eggs. All right. So all that mixture is going to go together. Then I might actually put in a couple of teaspoons of brandy. It'll cook out, but it'll give it a really good flavor. And of course the butter, you know, a stick of butter, melted on top. Mix it all together. Last time I just waited like 10 minutes and put it in the oven. It was harder to slice because the oatmeal hadn't absorbed some of the liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it with you guys, and I'm going to mix the mixture, and then I'm going to leave it out for an hour before I actually put it in the oven, all right? And the oven is going to be 350, and it's about 45 minutes, okay? So there you go. Oh, one other thing. When I said a cup of brown sugar, most of the times when you measure brown sugar, you pack it. They say pack it, whatever you're measuring into. I'm going to encourage you not to. So it ends up being like maybe 3/4 of a cup or even a half a cup. So just do the brown sugar and shake it and then pour it in. All right. So don't pack it when you're measuring the brown sugar. I'm going to add a cup of cranberries, and I'm going to add a cup of chocolate chips. These cranberries. Now, some things you just don't skimp on. When you're getting extracts, buy extracts, right? As far as almond and all those other ones, just get a good one, okay? It's really worth it. Here's another hint that I guess I got to tell you or re-warn you about. If you have chocolate chips in anything and you're adding something that's melted, make sure that whatever is melted is room temperature, or you're just going to melt the chips, all right? So melt the butter. Do not brown it unless you want brown butter, which is a great flavor. But this recipe doesn't call for that unless you want it. So make sure that at whatever stage you melt the butter, that it's room temperature before you add it to this, okay? Cool. So here you have all the dry ingredients. I got the oatmeal, the brown sugar, the white sugar. I've got the baking powder, the chocolate chips, the walnuts, all of the dry stuff, okay? Now we do the wet. So here I have the brandy, the almond extract, and the vanilla extract. And that was half a cup of the brandy, a teaspoon of the vanilla extract, and half a teaspoon of the vanilla extract, and a teaspoon of the almond extract. Okay, as you've seen, is I've coated the pan. I've covered it with heavy gauge aluminum foil. The reason for that is because this is a little bit sticky and it'll stick to your pan. And I mean, I don't have a non-stick square baking pan, whatever, use whatever you got. But I find that with this, after I let it cool, I could just lift the paper up and spread it, and it'll keep its shape. So something to consider, okay? And the best way to do this is you turn the pan over and you put the aluminum foil on this side, squeeze it down, take it off, and then fit it into this side. You kind of follow that? Should be simple. And when you melt the butter, melt it slowly. Make sure you spray the aluminum foil. You want to coat it well, okay? So you see it's very low flame, okay? I'm swirling it to melt it quicker or to melt it more evenly, right? And now, since it's halfway, I cover it, turn it off. And never eat your nuts unless they're toasted and nice and toast your nuts, okay? Doesn't matter what nuts they are, toast them, because it draws out the oils as well as the flavors, okay? And that's in a saute pan or in the oven, blah, blah, blah. It's easy. It won't melt the chips. You got to think, baby, you know, you got to think for yourself. Okay, so in this cup, I know it looks like all the cream, but it's not. It's half cream and half water. So it's half a cup of water, half a cup of cream. I already added the 2 eggs to this, so I'm going to add this and stir it up. All right, so we're going to mix this all together. All right, so I added an extra half a cup of water. The butter's gonna go in, and like I said, I'm gonna set it out for an hour. I wanna see how much moisture the oatmeal absorbs, because last time it was too crumbly, it was very hard to slice. So, the brandy in this is amazing. I know some of you are going, brandy for breakfast? Haven't you heard of 12 steps? Just kidding. Just kidding. The brandy cooks out, all right? It just leaves this rich, rich flavor and this amazing aroma, okay? All right, so this is what it's looking like right now. And I'm gonna add the melted butter. Butter is in. And we're done. Now I'm just gonna let it set and preheat the oven to 350. Frickin' smells so good. Now the longer you let it set, you see how thick it got? Okay? And that's because I let it set, the oatmeal's absorbing some of the moisture, okay? Letting it set like this, so far it's been like a half hour. Letting it set like this softens the oatmeal, so you have like a softer texture when you get the product, all right? Less crumbly, you might be able to cut it. Smells amazing. I don't want to wait any longer, so I'm putting it in the pan right now. All right. Well, gotta use my hands. Spread it out to the edges. And there you go. Now to the oven. That's it. Now we clean up, which isn't much. It's one pan, one mixing bowl, and we wait the 45 minutes. All right, so the alarm is going off, which is a good sign. That means that it's done. So 45 minutes, and this is what we got. All right, so here we go. Oh man, that's perfect. Perfect. All right, so let's move this over here. And now we let it cool off. It smells pretty amazing. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna try it right now. So I'm gonna let it cool off completely. I'll take it out of the pan so you see how that looks. It's gonna cool for at least 30 minutes. Because I wanna make sure it's really cold so it doesn't stick. So see you in 30. And I'll tell you what, I will do 12 steps for this. Oh yeah. So here you got brandied baked oatmeal with cranberries and chocolate chips.